Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. We had Deku. We also had War Machine. Now, War Machine tried to stop Isuku and talk to him. He wanted to try and convince Isuku to take off the armor and stop trying to be Iron Man. But Deku, he, he somewhat surprised the man. He turned off the man's armor and dropped him off on a building. He avoided a fight, a conflict, and he avoided causing any damage to anything. And he also had a 2-minute head start on him. That surprised Rhodey. It was alarming. He didn't think that anyone can get through his armor like that, let alone find a way to take him out of the fight. If the kid wanted to, he could have killed him, drop him from the sky, eject him from his armor, override it, and do whatever he wanted. This was a show of ability. He knows that. He's just alarmed by it. He can't stop this person at the current moment, at least until their firewalls are able to withstand a hack like that again. And Rhodey, he went to people he knows in the government to try and improve the armor. Since that thing, it is the greatest piece of military equipment that currently exists. And that says something quite a bit. Now, with that being said, Rhodey, he's going to get that improved. And until then, he's going to try to avoid a confrontation with the Iron Lad. And hopefully he doesn't get too far ahead. Especially if he did things the way he thinks he did. That boy is smart enough to refabricate armor and hack into tech like his. Something Tony Stark made as a baseline years ago, but was improved upon by the US government. That means quite a lot. Now, he's not the only one currently modifying tech and trying to make improvements. Because somebody else, they had their own plan. Months ago, they were going to break out of prison and kill Tony Stark. Maybe finally do it. They just had a plan. And that was the only thing that drove them. Tony Stark took everything in their life. He drove them to this point. And that means quite a bit. He wanted revenge. But after hearing about Iron Man's death, he felt hollow. He didn't get it. Everything Stark Industries is built on, it was stolen. And that pisses him off. And he did one thing. He didn't know what to do. For the first time in his life, he was in a spot where he could escape, get away, but it wouldn't feel the same. He could try to restart his life, go underground, start over. But after everything he's done, why? Just walking away from this doesn't feel like something he can do. He's dedicated time, effort, years of his life he can't get back. So, he sat there. He tried to think. He put away his equipment, at least for now. He still looked at it sometimes, thought about it, wondered about it. But then, he started to finish up the project. Especially after hearing Iron Man did return. Now, with that being said, Whiplash, he currently has plans to break out of prison. And he does also have plans to show Iron Man that this time he's going to kill him. He'll wish he stayed in whatever hole he crawled out of. Now, it has been 3 weeks since Isuku has shown off that he has the Iron Man armor. Actually, let's say it's been closer to a month. So that does mean quite a bit. In this amount of time, Isuku, he has been trying to make improvements. Still design and upgrade the Mark II. Find out what can be an improvement and what can be original. There's a lot here he can do. And that has been an interesting task. If he wants to make things a bit easier, he needs to be stronger. So with the fact that there's suit is actually built from scratch, not pieces cut and re-put together, that means quite a bit. This salvage job, it gets by. But I mean, he's only around 60, 50% maybe of the actual Iron Man. So this, an actual newer model suit from scratch, it will do the job. Plus, if he's lucky, he can take the power source out of this old suit and put it in the new one. After that, he's gonna have to make another one if he plans to make other suits. But I mean, whenever he takes it out, he can analyze the suit and actually make one from scratch. Figure out what powers these things exactly. Design it, improve upon it, and go from there. And it means quite a bit. Izuku, he just wants to improve. And that means quite a lot. He has shown off abilities that nobody else has been able to demonstrate yet. He's smart, and people have been watching him. Captain America thought about how right now the Avengers, they won't step in unless the boy goes down the wrong path. Shield, though, they want to talk to this kid, since they are pretty sure they know exactly who it might be. They got information, and Stark Industries has been doing something interesting, though not much else is known. Now, with that currently being said, Izuku, he is at his lab, and he currently is experimenting and trying to improve upon his Mark II. As Deku, he currently does have a gauntlet on his hand, it going all the way up to the bend in his arm, as he is tinkering away with a wrench. And he is trying to make sure the suit, it does fit properly. And Deku, he does stare down at the repulsor. Him bringing his hand up onto his arm and thinking about what to put into the suit. Redesign, redo, remodel, everything. Everything needs to be an improvement. But at the same time, he needs to know limits. Deku turning his hand and staring at his palm. Everything needs to be perfect. But there's something he needs to have in this suit. Tony had air flaps, so there's that. Maybe a parachute. But if that can deploy, he needs to have sensors. Backup power. No. He doesn't need a life support. Though, Friday, she has an automatic system in place. If he ever takes on too much damage and the suit can still move and has power, it will automatically bring him back here. And, well, he'll figure things out there. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Nothing happens? Right. He's just being a little bit more paranoid. He needs to think on this. Figure it all out. Understand it. Think. That on Deku's mind. And currently Deku, he doesn't bring his hand up. As he does go to start messing with the suit a bit more to take this piece off. And Deku, after he does get everything set down, he does stare at it. Him gonna walk away. Now, Deku, he does head home. And whenever he does so, he does get to bed and head to his classes the next morning. Now, Izuku, he currently is in an engineering class, and he does just don't sit there. Him currently working on his little school project. And some people, they are actually someone staring over at Izuku. His idea sounds a little weird, strange. Some people are all for it, and some, they're not really too sure. Izuku had an idea. He's suspicious on it, but he also knows the paranoia that it might surround people with. He had an idea to build a mutant detector, or something to be able to scan for pterogenesis. The possibility of a gene that fraction of a human genome. Anything that shows that it could be something that you can go through, a way the human body can change. He wanted to see if it's possible to sell that, but he wasn't sure. I mean, a way to track and locate mutants. There are people out there who would immediately make that a priority. So, he knows how dangerous it can be, but he also knows how profitable it could be. But that's an issue. He runs into a moral dilemma. He could ruin people's lives, expose them, or even change their lives altogether by revealing they are a mutant. Some of these abilities, from what he understands, they're terrible. Some could be powerful and good, but chances are your abilities could be shit. And that's just being real. Yes, there are mutants out there like Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Emma Frost, and wait, he was gonna name this one guy, but what was his name? That on Izuku's mind. And Izuku, he feels a little confused. Think about that. He was thinking of somebody important to that team? That's weird. Is he forgetting a name? No. Deku, while he currently is working on his project, he is actually trying to think about what to do. He's thought about scrapping it, and probably try working on something else. Though the device could still be useful in the end. Maybe he could use it to create an actual tracker. If he needed to, he could... No. Well, could he actually even get nanites? Those would definitely help. Okay, so... a tracker in the blood, maybe. That's another idea. Possibility, but... No. A tracking device needs to be a whole single unit. You could theoretically make those all work together and group them together, but the metal should be strong enough to withstand stomach acid. Maybe. No. Like a dart. A metal dart covered in nanites. That could actually work. And not only get it into the individual, but possibly the bloodstream. They could think it's some sort of neurotoxin and be wrong. That one seems a little too dangerous. But the idea is there. None is mine. And currently somebody, they do to walk up. Him would actually turn and ask if he can help them with something. Maybe you can, young man. I'd like to talk to you. About an opportunity, possibly. Deku would actually turn and stand up. As the man to bring his hand out. My name is Justin Hammer. I'd like to talk to you about possibly a job opportunity for you, young man. Deku looked down at the man's hand, and going to look back up. If you could please not waste my time and just talk. I see. The man gonna bring his hand down. And Deku, he does stare at the man with graying hair. Listen, kid. I'll be blunt with you and real with you since you do seem to have that type of personality. I'm a man of business, and I'd like to possibly hire you. Maybe get you on for a bit of a project of mine. I do have plenty of money for you. And if I do see your brilliant mind as something that I can use and be helpful to my corporation, then maybe we can strike a deal. No. Excuse me. Did you just say no? I did. Listen, Mr. Hammer, was it? That would be correct. I don't want to work for you. With all fairness, I've seen your reputation and I've seen your work. Both are terrible. And I feel like aligning myself with the likes of you would look very, very poor on any rap sheet. So with all due respect, sir, well, I don't respect you at all. Please leave me alone. Now, Deku's turn back to his project. And I know a few people in the room, and they stare on at Justin Hammer. And that man, you can practically hear his blood pressure rising. As he has to turn and look around. A lot of other people go to actually turn back to their projects as Deku, he does still look down at his own. And he doesn't want to set to the side. Justin Hammer. somebody who has made a profiteer off of warmongering and cheap products. Hmm. Terrible personality, no sense of moral. Deku's staring down at his project, and currently he has a debate. If he turns this on and talks about what it might be, it could make him rich. Powerful? Hmm. It's more like a locator, though. Deku's setting it down, and he does actually just flick the button. Right now, it's going to beep, as Isuku, he does actually something to turn and look around. A few people turning their heads and staring at the project. And Deku, he's kind of surprised. There's a mutant around here. Now, Deku, he does stare on. I'm gonna bring the device up to himself, and the beeping goes to stop. Izuku, confused. I'm gonna set the device back down as the beeping starts again. And Deku, he does stare on. Okay, this is weird. Now, someone is gonna walk over, and they do actually try to ask him what that is. Oh, this. It's nothing. I think it's busted. I accidentally pushed the switch, but I haven't even programmed it yet. What's it supposed to do? If I tried to explain it to you, well, you're a genius, but you see, it works as something to help catch radio waves. I haven't put a speaker into it or hooked it up to anything yet, but it's acting as some sort of beacon? I don't know. It's possible there might be some sort of feedback. That doesn't sound right. I know. And it doesn't make sense. Now, Deku does actually flick it off. Him could actually turn, expressing to the person. Maybe he should start over. Try something different. That project wasted enough time. Now, Deku, he does actually someone to turn and grab the device. Him going to actually undo certain things and take it apart. As he does actually going to turn and carefully put it into his bag. Now, Izuku, he does actually have to leave school. And as he was going to leave to the armory, he got an alert from Friday on his watch about something happening. And Deku decided to make it a bit double time to the armory. Now, Izuku, whenever he got there, he got to the Mark 1. And after getting everything put back together, he was able to quickly leave. He was getting better and better with the tech and understanding its use. And well, taking it apart and putting it back together, that's only the easy part. The hard part is getting it to work. Now, Deku, he does go to head out. And currently, Friday does alert him as to who his opponent might be. The person who is causing so much trouble. Now, Deku, he currently does to fly down. And right now, Deku, when there's a land, the man is at a turn. Him staring at his greatest opponent. What is this, some sort of fucking joke? Now, Whiplash flat out calls out Izuku, since he's not Tony Stark. And Deku would confirm, he's not. He's just taking on the mantle. And currently Deku's gonna bring his hands up. Him about to send out a blast as the man's gonna bring his hands up. Him gonna actually scream out and yell about why he's even here. Since Iron Man was one of the only real things that kept him going. His anger and his rage, those were the main components pushing him, driving him. And that is just sort of sad. And that does mean quite a bit. As currently the man does a rush forwards and attack. Now, there's a little flap into the air. As the man, he actually tries to leap out to attack with his whip. And Izuku, he actually gets grabbed by the leg. Him a little more surprised as Random is going to shock him and zap him, and Deku's going to bring his hand down. Him trying to aim for the thing in the center. However, he does start its design, since it's quite similar to an arc reactor. And if that's an exposed arc reactor, he's not going to shoot directly at it. Now, Deku's going to try and blast down the ground. Currently, the man could actually try and take a step as he does a step forwards, the tension being let go from the whip. And Deku, he actually to fly up into the air. Him yelling about how dangerous it is to have that thing exposed. And the man, he does just simply go to smile and try and tell Izuku. Him going to actually bring up his whips and get ready. About how he really should look into things a lot more, since his supposed hero was just a thief. And Izuku, he has a blast down with his unibeam. Right now, him gonna shoot up smoke as the man, he is actually trying to bring up his whips. Him thinking that Deku's gonna charge him and rush him. However, Deku, he does try to fire into the puff of smoke. Him is going to look at a screen where the man used to be. Now, Deku, he does at least try to ask Friday for any way to take this guy down if he has an arc reactor. And that was where Friday tried to intervene. The only real way to take him down would be to hit him with repulsors to either the face or to the chest. However, with an arc reactor, or as she does understand it to be, a knockoff or a cheap imitation, not much might happen. There might be an explosion, yes, and the man could possibly die. But I mean, criminal. Now, Friday is very blunt with it. The man's life could be in danger. However, to her, it doesn't seem that important. And Izuku, he does try to tell Friday about exactly how a man dying isn't what he has in mind. Now, someone does come swinging in, and Deku, he has a turn as right now they're actually Spider-Man. The man going to actually land down and bring up his web shooters, and Deku's going to yell out that that's not going to work, as Spidey is going to have his spider sense ring in his ears and leap and turn and stare at Izuku. Now, he has to stand back up. Him asks about exactly what's going on here, and Deku does try to tell Spidey. It's quite simple. Get everyone away from here, he'll handle this guy, since his tech could slice him in half. Now, Spider-Man does not believe that. However, where Whiplash does try to lash out and attack him while he's on a bus, that bus is cleaved into two. And Spidey does understand. He's going to land and turn, yelling out that Iron Lad really needs to take on this guy then. At least try to blind him, take him down, do something. And Deku, he does get correct him. People really need to stop calling him that. It's Iron Man. Now, Spidey, he doesn't really care. Him gonna swing away. And someone they currently are watching. Them a lot more intrigued about what might be happening. And Deku, he currently does gonna bring his hands up. I'm gonna get ready. Right. Okay, well, time to show what he got back online. I'm gonna try and tell Friday about how he wants her to deploy, well, a tinier countermeasure on his mark. And Friday does not understand. And Deku, he does try to tell her. It's gonna be simple. Though he's gonna need to time this perfectly right. Now, Friday does understand. And currently Deku, he is blasting down and still trying to keep on the move, as he is actually fly in and currently bring his hands down. Now, Whiplash is going to laugh out, as Deku just come flying down and he has to bring up his weapons. Him going to try to attack, as Deku, he has to activate his air brakes and bring his hands up. Him firing the unibeam as he had to blast out and smash it right on Whiplash. Him striking the man in the shoulder and then going to bring his other hand up. Now, Deku does fire a missile. We're now going to fly through the air and explode. It smashing right into the man's shoulder as the concentrated explosion just blast off part of the armor. And Deku's flying forwards. Right now, him going to grab onto the chest piece and push into the guy, as he has actually smashed him down to the ground and then going to turn, throwing this piece. Him actually going to bring his hands down and grab onto the wires of the guy's tech. Him ripping them off as the man is just lay there. Him with one of his ears ringing and the other hearing perfectly fine. And Deku, he actually was trying to inspect the man's face and shoulder for shrapnel, as his result sit there. Right. Okay, good. They're going to turn and stare at that chess piece. I'm going to walk over and bend down, as he does going to start scanning it. Friday, anything of note? Yes. This does appear to have similar designs to the arc reactor. Similar designs? Correct. Yes. However, it is nowhere near as powerful. Whiplash. Current database known. Information. Villain. Role. Minor from Stark standards. I see. And why did he pop up again? Correlation. Possible that he believed you were Tony Stark. Hmm. That's what I thought too. Right. I'm going to turn. As you know, police, they are arriving. And with that, someone, they do come to walk up. And Deku, he does get a stare on at Captain America? Now, Deku, he actually doesn't want to walk forwards. Him, right now with Whiplash's chess piece in his hand. And Cap, he does look down at the man, who currently is bleeding from one ear and does have singe marks on his shoulder. I'm going to turn and stare back at Izuku, as Deku, he does stare at Captain America, and the man is trying to talk about it. If he'd be willing to, he'd like to have Deku gonna blast off. A word. Well, that's not good. Now, Carol Danvers does a step forwards, and she's trying to ask Cap if he really does think that that kid should be running around with tech. I mean, he's impersonating Tony Stark. And Cap does get a turn, trying to tell Captain Marvel. He doesn't believe it to be that way. I mean, the armor, yeah. He can tell her this. It's scrap and salvage. If she takes a close look at it, she can see battle damage. And he's fairly certain that he might remember where that armor's from. So you can confirm it's Stark tech. I believe so. Though, from what I can understand, he stopped repairing the armor already. So what do you believe that does mean? He's letting it ride its course, just taking it for a joyride now? It's too expensive to maintain. Yeah. Though he rebuilt it from scratch. Probably used a lot of original parts. So what does that tell you? Not a lot. But it's also powered. And from what I understand, needs a big battery. I thought about that too. Whoever we're dealing with has money and tech. Intelligence possibly too. I don't know. Right. I have an idea. An idea. Yeah. Maybe talk to Pepper Potts. She could possibly know something. And you think that that's a good idea? It's possible. Though, she might know something. If not a detail, at least. Something important? Tony was a very private man. Me and you both know that. Private. Seemed like an open book to me. Well, that was part of his charm. The Stark charm. Listen, Carol. I don't expect you to fully trust me on this, but at least let me do the talking. I'm more... what? Emotional. Fair enough. Though, I will probably catch the kid if you don't get answers. I'm sure you will. Listen, just let me do things from right now. Until this becomes an official SHIELD capacity mission, let me do the talking. Besides, I'm pretty sure Fury, he's letting this right out too. Now, Deku, he does get back to his armory. Him gonna land and take off the suit. And after Deku, he does get out of it, he does want to try to take on a more interesting task. Sitting down Whiplash's tech and staring at it. A lot of it is scrap metal. I mean, all of this. I mean, look at this wiring. It's terrible. Okay, but still being that big of a threat. Friday. Yes? I have a question. How powerful is this power source here in the chest piece? Estimation. 10% of current armor's power supply. Is that at the number 67 percentage, or is that at 100%? It is more closer to being 1/10 of 94% of the current armor's capacity. And compared to Stark terms, less than 1/10. I see. Right. This was Tony's early days. They're going to turn and stare at the armor. Okay, so not bad. They're going to walk over and begin to dismantle Whiplash's tech, wanting to get a better look at it and understanding. Since this thing is basically a knockoff arc reactor, and from what he does understand, the one in his current suit of armor, it's not a knockoff, but it's definitely a pre-design. Tony essentially built a mini nuclear power source that's not radioactive and certainly dangerous. So he's going to find a way to build something even half as good as that. Right. Ah, shit. He's going to need some supplies if he's going to do that. Now, Deku, he does think, though, he can possibly get advances on the power source. Yeah, it's not an arc reactor, but hey, he'll at least get there soon enough. Hopefully soon. Or he could try to ask Miss Potts for an arc reactor. Oh, God. Now, with that being said, do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.